Hi everybody, welcome to What to Play Next. Find you everything that's awesome in gaming. So this is King's Quest IV Retold. Remove the dead ends and time limit. Please note you'll be able to finish the game no matter what you do. It'll still be possible to lock yourself out of the best possible ending. So if you haven't already seen it, King's Quest was so iconic. It was one of the best-selling adventure games of all time when it was released, which is obviously when that was coming out. It cornered the female audience in gaming. Absolutely adored it. We networked to like find each other and talk about this. So it was like on the forums and everything. It was really cool. It was made by Sierra, extremely well-known gaming company. I think they just started things back up out in Cali. And they did a lot of really cutting-edge stuff. So Roberta Williams and her husband actually expanded out into Phantasmagoria with the green screen. Really advanced gaming that way. But they did a lot in the way of gaming art as well. So if you're familiar with the intro, you know, apologies. So they get Alexander back from the evil wizard who stole him. They have a twin daughter, Rosella. So they save her from the terrible dragon, and the King Graham decides to pass his adventuring cap, which is the iconic symbol that he's about to step off the throne and go back out, because that's how he won the throne in the first place. So he's going to pass that to his children. Flings the battered hat towards his children as the hat arches through the air. Suddenly, King Graham experiences a terrible squeezing pain in his chest. Help me, he rasps. So I couldn't quite make it through King's Quest IV. The adventurer's hat lies unclaimed upon the floor, forgotten. It didn't really have a hook. One, for instance, has a reboot. It also has a remaster. King's Quest IV didn't experience the same thing. So I found this. This is King's Quest IV Retold. So apparently it had some extra material that somebody went and put in back when the license was up and they were allowed to do that. Now they, Sierra has since tightened up its regulations, but since they were grandfathered in, we are still allowed to play them. Grief suddenly overwhelming her, Rosella runs through the room. Sucks to be you. Oh, father, she sobs, you're still young. You should have so many years ahead of you. Do you really mean that? Do you mean that you would do anything? Anything? You're a princess. Think about this. Rosella looks up but sees no one. Who's speaking to me? So you get the throne by gathering the 3 treasures of Daventry, and the king expires just as you arrive. There is a much longer version where Grandpa actually tells it as a bedtime story. I am, the voice says, look into the magic mirror. And so you have the extended version where you do achieve knighthood and that sort of thing, which is, you have to be nobility to take a throne in general. Rosella sees an image in the mirror. Who are you, she queries. America's very Veni Vidi Vici about the whole royalty thing, because we recognize that they're also generals, and that's one of the ways that we remember that, is that they have a place in government, especially with concerns for the military. In the fairy Genesta, in my land of Tamir, there's a remarkable tree. A tiny tree needs 100 years to bear a single fruit. It's kind of like that. It's like a corpse fruit or something? A corpse flower? It blooms like every 80 years or something. We had one up at the Botanical Gardens. This was this big event. It's no ordinary fruit. For a person were to eat it, they would find their good health and well-being would return for many years. Rosella is much heartened to hear this news. Where is this land of Tamir? I'm fairly sure you're actually returning to where your mother, Valence, is from. Genesta smiles. Tamir is very far away, but with my magic I can bring you here. In King's Quest II, he finds that he's lonely, and again we did the remaster, so it's a great hook where we can continue to play, because people haven't seen it yet. Rosella senses there's more to the story, but I suppose there are some problems. And I'm fairly sure that takes place in Tamir. Again, Genesta smiles. Yes, you're correct, Rosella. If you're willing to come to Tamir, I'll explain the situation. So I'm going to blitz through the intro and just do the opening, and then there are 2 in which I cover a lot of the adventures. And I'll put those, I'll put it in the list where those are first. Confused Rosella says, I don't know what if I can't help you or find the tree. Because I don't think I got so far that I would have hit the extra material, and we'll go up to the extra material and start putting that in. Genesta, please, you must decide now, Rosella. My powers are growing weaker by the minute. So Genesta's up a crick. We can help her out in return for this fruit. The fairies put a faint glimmer, her voice barely audible. If you care for your father, say yes now. And suddenly she's gone. Strikes me as a little bit of a no-no there. Yes! This is, a hands-up situation. Kind of a lot. At least, you know, Nick the adventurer's cap. Not so much. Rosella isn't the brightest. King's Quest VII unfortunately bombed. The developers ran into a problem where, despite the fact that they were advancing gaming, they were dead-ending on story. A lovely fairy speaks. I'm the fairy Genesta. Welcome to Tamir. They were telling a lot of very earthy jokes throughout the whole thing, which was very entertaining, but they ran into the fact that their fan base was becoming women who were thinking about marriage. And it just wasn't as funny to make a heart joke. So, or to, you know, down women to where they were only wearing skirts and that sort of thing. We had to think about, you know, what if we had to work and that sort of thing. Finally, Rosella speaks. I know you would like me to help you. Genesta looks at her and you're wrong, Rosella. You see, I'm losing my magical powers. Yesterday, as I was strolling through the woods, Lolotte, the evil fairy, caught me unawares and stole my magical talisman. Fairy sighs. She yanked it from my neck and raced away, screeching with laughter. Immediately, I felt my powers diminishing and my body weakening. Die in 24 hours if my talisman is not returned. It's that easy to off, you chick? Color me concerned. So, you know, they had a lot of those sorts of jokes and that tongue-in-cheek humor, which is very English, and so it was very popular. And they kind of lost their audience. Intently, Genesta looks at Rosella. Lolotte is very evil and will use the talisman to bring more evil to Tamir. Now I fear it will contaminate my whole country. Furthermore, I cannot send you home without my talisman. Oh, ouch. So we're, like, stuck here unless we help her. It's, you know, thanks a lot for that. Rosella's unsure what she can do. Meekly, she asks, I want to help you, but how? But for us, you know, at the time, this was a great D&D setup, and our brothers wouldn't let us play a lot, and cousins and stuff like that. You can do more than you think, Rosella. Genesta assures her, I believe you'll be able to penetrate Lolotte's domain. To be fair, you actually did get threatened with beatings and stuff like that if you did play D&D or were a computer nerd. People were violent to you. Suddenly, Rosella remembers a tiny tree. Can you tell me where the magic fruit? Mercifully, Genesta looks at Rosella. It will not be easy to reach a tree. It grows on a tiny island within a vast swamp on the other side of the Great Mountains. Okay, so we go past the Great Mountains, through the swamp, get the fruit. Bravely fighting back tears, Rosella says, I'll help you in any way I can, Genesta. How can I find Lolotte? She needs a ride home. She needs magic fruit. Beautiful fairy points eastward. Lolotte's castle overlooks Tamir from the Great Mountains. So this gave us that outlet where we could, you know, be intrepid and play, but Genesta looks weaker as she says, there's not much more I can do, Rosella, as it is. It'll be difficult for me to fly home again. It sucks. She just crashed into the ocean. The thing I must do for you, though, I shall disguise you as a peasant girl so as not to attract attention. She is kind of wearing some high-end digs there. Go running around the countryside and that. You might get snatched. Thank you, Genesta. I think Rosella stammers. They kind of set the gold standard here. It'd be better for you, the fairy says. Well, I must be awful. I can still fly. I know you can do it. Point system. Multiple endings. Saved often, so you can, you know, like in the originals, you could die and so on. And then the storyboarding laid out per screen, which continued throughout Adventure even when they did the art backdrops, where screen by screen you would solve through the puzzles and get more storyline. So even though the platform has changed, they set that standard there, and it hasn't changed since. So we're looking forward to getting a little bit more storyline, even though it's indie. I mean, I love the indie scene for that. If it was the law that they couldn't do it, then it would be that, but at the time they could, so. Well, you're on your own, Rosella. Okay, so it looks like they upgraded the interface is the first thing. So we got some different icons, well, I'm sure they do the same thing. Got a little Rosella ahead of you and so on. Blue water of the ocean washes serenely over the pretty sand beach. Got my little braids going still. Ooh, who are you? See a rather jaunty looking fellow who appears to be a wandering minstrel. He seems to be a lute player. I play for lute as well. I'm glad we have something in common, sir. Let's see your surprise. Well, what do we have here? You introduce yourself as Rosella. Hello, Rosella, minstrel says. Let me play for you one of my favorite tunes. He begins to play an old ballad. Fortunately, it appears his musical skills are quite limited as he sings his way through an otherwise beautiful song. There's no answer. Alright, so we have a mysterious minstrel. Probably just walk past him. Got a fisherman's hut of some kind. Short tree by the sandy beach. Tree is too short to climb and has no fruit. You can search as you go without stopping, which was a nice feature. Old rusted anchor leans against the wall of the house. Looks like they upgraded the house. I kind of recall this being different. Hello, friend. Poor tattered woman knits at the table. She looks tired and a little grumpy. With a little patience, she responds, "What are you doing here, young lady? Can't you see I'm busy? We have enough problems without worrying about you." "What sort of problems?" Try to talk pleasantly to the tired-looking woman, but your words fall on deaf ears. She's obviously annoyed by your presence. I'll have to find out what's going on. The stove keeps it warm in here. Poor people can only afford a few cheap cans of food. The inside of the fisherman's shack looks almost shabby as the outside. You see a tired-looking woman knitting at the table. A large fish. Lumpy bed looks old and uninviting. Not much going on here, so we're kind of hurting for puzzles, but we'll continue on. Head down the pier and let's take a long walk off a short pier. See how that goes. Friend! At least I can swim. Oh no! I feel like there's a way to get to the next screen, but this isn't happening for me. We'll just haul my sorry princess butt out of the salt water there. Friend, we're going to the next board. Come with me. Come with me to greatness. There we go. Alright, so I probably can walk off the pier. See if there's anything going on there. Right now we're... Oh my god, you are beautiful! Wild unicorn, its clothes dapple gray. Wonderful horizon shines like gold. Shies away from your approach and trots away. What are you trying to say? You call it a wild unicorn, but it trots away at your arrival. Unicorn bounces. Interesting dappling in the meadows and then out in the trees as well. There's a tree stump in the middle of the meadow. My goodness, the observations. Definitely kicked it up a notch there. Soundtrack is the sounds are a little bit different. Soundtrack is similar. I'll have to check the original, see if that's the same way. Let's head this a ways. Rosella to the rescue! Rosella, walk off the damn board like I told you to. Woman! I'm gonna take care of you. How hard is this? Ooh, we have a little Greek pool. Beautiful pool is lined with tall marble columns. The crystal clear water looks very inviting. Now, in a lot of these, you'll get a surprise character, and that was the interesting thing about King's Quest IV. You had to kind of spring on opportunity. God, I am just glorious. Ugh. It's painful how coordinated Rosella is. Just walk behind me, unicorn. See what happens to you. What's this? I will end you, crow. You notice something glimmer under the stone bridge. It's very immediate. I would have said glimmering, but okay. Kneel down and turn to the bridge. Aha, you found a small golden ball. You pick up and carry it with you. Now, the interesting thing about the King's Quest, and the reason that we absolutely loved them, was that you could look at your inventory and so on, as well as pick it up and turn it around. So, as you go through, you'll be able to actually examine the items. So you have multiple options down the side, and it'll give you a little more information. It's rare that things need to be combined, but if they do, then they do. What are you, friend? Large frog stares back at you with bulging eyes. Can we get the frog? I'm not close enough. Well, obviously we're going to do this. Oh, I scared it away! I went wading in a pond for nothing. This poor girl is so hard on her clothes. Tell you what, friend. Oh, this doesn't look like the safest place. No, honey, come back this way. Yes. She's not the brightest. Off the screen. Off. Oh, what's this? I don't think we can get any of the pine cones or anything like that. There's random monsters as well, so... There's a pail. There's nothing in the pail. Oh, that's good. Run away! Run away. Oh no! I'm not gonna be able to dodge! Might be wise to use caution here. I'm caught. The terrible ogre grabs you and drags you off to an untimely end. Dinner looks like it'll be you tonight. Oh no, thank you for playing King's Quest 4 Perils of Rosella. At least Yoga appreciates your good taste. And then they always make a joke at the end. So that was one of the things that we loved about it. So let me go through and catch up to where I was in the previous series, and then we'll just cut to there and see what sort of extra material they had with the fisherman's house was new and that sort of thing. If you geek out hard to that sort of thing like me, then we can continue on with the King's Quest 4 series, and that would be awesome. King's Quest 3, we have the remaster going on, so that's there as well. We did get merch. Look at how glorious my Pirate Queen is. You can pimp out to what to play next and tell everybody about the channel. Liking and subscribing totally free. We love you guys. And there's a link in the description below if you do want to play along with us. So we love hearing from you. We love that you're always along for the ride. And we'll see you in the next video.